Hey, can you hear me? Ah, perfect, perfect. Sorry about that. I was trying to change the battery at the same time. I couldn't. Say that one more time. Is that what you guys call them? Bubble gummies? Is that what you guys call them? Bubble gummies? Oh, gotcha. Okay. How's everything going so far? Yeah, that's like my nephew Carter. She's just about to be a year now, and he's just like moving around and doing stuff. I'm like, wait, slow down. Like, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's not going to be too long before he's just walking everywhere and doing everything and getting into everything. And oh, he's already. Oh man. Well, I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but basically, yeah, I was just trying to sort of get an idea what your experience was with working on high risk and any other projects that you might have been working on. What movie was that? Oh, nice. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah. Sure. Well, yeah. So just to give you an idea, so the project I'm trying to start working on is just a short, and it's a narrative, and it basically is kind of a mishmash of different sort of like genres, kind of sci-fi a little bit, and obviously drama. And so what I was trying to do was basically just kind of try to treat it like a feature in the way of trying to raise funds for it, to put together a crew, and kind of adhere to sort of like as much of the structure that there is to any of this, try to adhere to that structure so I can kind of prove, hey, kind of proof of concept of, hey, I can take a project from beginning to end, with kind of doing it sort of the way it's supposed to be done. So I guess maybe my more specific question is, as far as you're concerned, and I know that you correct me if I'm wrong, kind of handle more of the writing aspect of your vantage point, kind of how, how far into the process did you get involved, and then, how was it like in terms of just working, as far as like the technical side of it? Like, did you have to, as far as working through the drafts of the script, and kind of, how long that process? I'm sorry, go ahead. Right, right. So it's probably more than a half hour, maybe a little shorter, but right now that's what I'm sort of No. That no, that was some good context to it, because in thinking about sort of like how we could sort of like leverage this thing, my idea was that, so for one, since it is a sci-fi story, it has to do with quantum physics and like the many worlds theory. So my idea was like, okay, like what if we like partnered with like I don't know, the science department with University of Baltimore, or did these type of things to sort of get the community that I guess that might find this interesting. How can we both get them involved with the project early on, but then also too on the back end of like, so if we did take it to a festival or something like that, how can we sort of drum up sort of excitement for it? And then you also mentioned, doing some sort of like sizzle reel or like maybe even like a short little trailer or even just shoot a scene. So that was on my mind to do too, as far as, okay, like, how can we potentially get some people interested in the project from an investment standpoint. So again, yeah, it sort of confirmed some of those things that I was thinking. I think that's kind of what this conversation or what I was kind of like looking for is. I think I'm kind of on the right track, but it's hard to tell, unless you've like been through it yourself. It's hard to know, like, I'm sure, since this is your first child, like, am I doing this right? Is this the way it's supposed to go? Yeah. Is it a sci-fi? What is it? Oh, like The Wire, you mean? Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what's got me like really sort of passionate about just like being in Baltimore too, and honestly specifically keeping the project to Baltimore. Like I don't want to get a bunch of people from DC. I don't want to get a bunch of people from New York. I want people from Baltimore because I feel like we don't have enough, or at least I don't know, if there is like a thriving scene specifically for like movies. Like if we have a thriving art scene, I think in Baltimore, but there's not. I don't know about a film, especially a black person-led film community that's unique and thriving in Baltimore. Yeah, version. Yeah, on Netflix. Yeah.
Oh, you had to bring them home. Behind you!
Yeah.
One basket of which is a bunch of coloring books that have been shredded. One of those like soft books, a mirror, and that's all that's there. But 20 minutes.
Right. Mm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, I do. It's Jacob. Yeah, and Jacob, I think. Yeah, sadly, I do. But no, and like I guess the last two things I'll say is, for one, yeah, sure, no worries, no worries. So for one, knowing that you're a writer, I would absolutely love to, if you want, that is, and or have the time, because obviously maybe boss is in charge, but take a look at the short, the script for it. I really just wanted to try to clean up any sort of obvious issues with it before I sent it out to anybody who I felt like, okay, this is like a serious person that I'm sending it to. But I would absolutely love for you to take a look at it, and to give back any sort of notes that you might have. But then also too, it's with everything that you've done with High Risk and the things that you're working on, it's absolutely beautiful to see. I remember when we sat down to watch High Risk, we were trying forever to figure out how to watch it, because they didn't BT. I think it's either BT Plus or BT. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you're fine. Go ahead. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah. Well, now I know, because we had to go through it. Yeah. I believe we watched it on BET Plus. Yeah, but I think it was like through Hulu or something like that, and then there was like a whole big thing with that, because we thought when it originally aired, we thought we could record it, but then we did record it, or I sent the recording so that I could watch it with Caroline, and then all of a sudden they were like, Hulu was like, oh yeah, by the way, we did record it. I was like, I sent the recording, I got your stupid plan that you said I should get, and so it was a whole thing, but yeah, we were eventually able to see it. But yeah, to see what you're doing with that, and the other things that you're working on, especially this film. Now I'm really interested to see hear that it's coming out. A really good life, and I appreciate the work that you putting in. And yeah, and you know, more than anything, I appreciate you even taking the time to to talk to me, to chat with me. I appreciate it. Wow. Well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Kind of the same thing, yeah. No, I was saying like they're making essentially like the same sort of idea. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that there was a part of me that when I was a little bit younger, I would say, like, oh man, you know, I gotta, you know, be really careful of, you know, who sees this, but I guess right now I want to be, weirdly enough, I want to be in a position where somebody kind of takes my idea, so I can at least know that the idea is even good. Yeah, yeah, protecting yourself. Right. Yeah. Yeah, like I'm gonna get it copyrighted and all that stuff, and so I'm kind of just waiting until this kind of rough draft of the script is kind of at least in somewhat shape, and then and then I'm gonna get it copyrighted and stuff. But yeah, for sure. Like I think, you know, I think that's why I'm trying to think about all this stuff up front, so that I can kind of put together like a decent game plan for how we might do things. Because I think the last thing I want to do is to go through this whole process and put together this whole project just to have somebody say, oh yeah, you know, we're coming out with a movie, or we're coming out with a thing that has like exactly the same, you know, premise and idea that you're dealing with. That would be obviously heartbreaking. But even I think, yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm really excited about this, about the premise of this at least. I think it's a unique enough premise, and I think that coming from somebody who is black, like I feel like it'll be unique enough, and the subject matter is not something that is typically associated, I think, with black people, and I think that I want to especially like in Baltimore, I want to start changing that narrative that of limiting like the projects that we can do, kind of like what you're talking about before. No, yeah. And that's the thing too. Trying to find like funding. I know I'm going to probably run into a lot of that. I'm like, well, that's cool, but how about you talk about gangs and violence? It's just like, I don't. Yeah. Well, I was literally just talking to Caroline today about like maybe I should have just stuck to finance. I don't know, like maybe that would have been the better choice. But yeah, like I saw what my idea is that to take this short and depending on who might be interested. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what sort of inspired me to start. Because at first, when I first was, let go from the real news, I basically transitioned into producing all these other shows, and then like maybe around I would say June, maybe, or maybe even earlier than maybe May. I kind of had to stop, and I was like thinking like, why am I working so hard on these other shows and I'm not dedicating my time to the thing that I'm actually trying to do? Like, this is a very unique moment in my life where I could just literally, I have the time, I have the ability to do it, so why not try to do it, And so that's really what got me to kind of refocus and go back to working on this, because I've had this idea for years now, and I just can never put it into a context and kind of make it the way I wanted it to. So yeah, I just decided that it was time to do that, and honestly, it's turned out at least as well as I could have ever expected it to turn out. So yeah, I'm concentrated on this particular time period of making things kind of exactly what I want to do as far as like directing goes. But yeah, I'll definitely take a look at the Parkway though. Now that that you mentioned that, to see sort of what they got going on. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, hopefully he can be your co-writer. He can. He can. I said maybe Quincy can be your co-writer, your AD or something. I don't know. Put him to work. Yeah, you know what? Caroline mentioned that he was in the credits. But what's crazy is I was trying to find the credits for High Risk, and I didn't even know where to even look. Like I saw on the website that I think it was just the director and then the what? Now I'm just confused. Wow, off of like kind of the strength of kind of the buzz of that you guys were creating. Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, because I was definitely looking at it like, they only had like I think a couple people listed as far as like the credits go, or I guess who was attached to the project, and I was like, man, this thing's actually out, and I still can't find the, the credits for it. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah. Whoa. Oh. Well, that is one day we got to sit down and really talk about this this whole experience, because it sounds like it was a yeah. Yeah, well, actually, that's another one of my ideas, is that during this whole process, kind of create sort of a behind-the-scenes thing, because even that can be something that can be, I don't know if it's necessarily sold, but something that can be valuable is somebody seeing like the entire process of making a project from beginning to end. Like, I know that that's something that like is really interesting to me, to see, okay, like I know of like the, everybody knows of like, okay, you got to put together a crew, you got to do this, you got to do that, but what is like the nitty gritty that you don't get to hear, that you can only experience like if you're there, and kind of documenting that, and then seeing, okay, even after we create the project, what can we also do with this sort of behind the scenes thing, so yeah, I think that would be, something that I can kind of like do on the side of the actual project itself, Web theory? Oh, web series. No, I couldn't hear what you were saying for a second or two, but you know what? So weirdly enough, the person, or one of the first people that I showed the script to, he immediately said, I really like the story, but one of the things that I wanted was for it to be like longer, because there's so many things in it that can be expanded upon. And for like a half of a second, I was like, maybe, but then I was like, no, I don't. I do not want to do that, because really this idea was kind of born from another project. That I have like 4 different other projects that I want to do, but exploring something like this as like a kind of a longer story, I feel like it would take, I don't know if I have enough passion for it in order to endure everything that would be involved in that, I think that I enjoy it as a short, and I love the premise for it. But as far as like expanding it and doing all this other stuff, I don't know if I'd have to see sort of what people feel about it first before I feel like I can kind of develop like, okay, I can go, because it was a grind to like get through just like the first rough draft of it, and I just don't know if I want to put my brain and everything through that, from just like an emotional standpoint, from the science standpoint, because it would be really involved as far as like what the science behind it. So yeah, that would, oof, that gives me a little fear, trying to think about extending the story. And I know that's like a red flag automatically when you have like automatic fear or something. So I feel like I have to see how people feel about it first, and then I can kind of think about it. For sure. But yeah, I don't know what your time looks like these days. Obviously with Quincy and all, but yeah, I would more than love it if you could take a look at the script and just give me your thoughts back, even if it's not like hardcore notes, but just like the general gist of, hey, does this make sense? Do I like this? That would be awesome. Oh sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Text me your email, and I can just email you a copy of it. Yeah, that'll work. For sure. Well, Andrea, again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you carving out some time to talk to me, and hopefully we can have a few more conversations. else because I definitely enjoy hearing about your experiences and all that good stuff. Well, yeah, that's this is Caroline's ongoing project of carving out Toon Row for the. But you know what's so funny about Caroline is that as soon as she buys the house, it's basically like she's like, where do we move to next? And it's just like, Jesus, just moved in. Let's work on this. Let's work on Toon Row townhouse first before we figure out how to move on to other stuff. But no, definitely appreciate that. It's been a great experience trying to put everything together for it, and it's a constant project, obviously. But we're in a decent place. We're in a decent place. Andrea, thanks again, and hopefully Quincy didn't leave that much of a mess for you in the diaper. All right, Andrea, I'll talk to you later. All right, thanks. Bye.